Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I am going live today with Rotem Kier, who is from the customer support team at Cryos International, who are a leading international sperm and egg bank. And we are going to be talking about main considerations or unexpected considerations that you may not have crossed your mind while selecting a donor. And I am a mother to sperm donor conceived children, as you may know. So this is a super important topic, which so many of our readers have questions around. So we cannot wait to chat to the team. Please have your questions. We'll answer them. Hello. Hi to those who are joining. Lovely to see you this afternoon. Welcome. Hello. Hello. Good afternoon. How are you?
Hi. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here.
It's great to have you here. I've just given you a brief introduction, but please could you explain to people watching what your role is at Cryos and who you help?
I am at customer care. I've been in Cry since 2018, and I help mainly private patients who are interested in fertility treatments with donor sperm in different countries in the world.
Yep,
Yes.
fantastic. And actually, at the fertility show 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
I was on a panel discussing this topic with Sagar, who answered some excellent questions that many people had, and I know our readers have, around the selection process, the pros, things to consider, things that you may not have considered. And the team have written the most useful article, which I've linked up to our bio, so please head there to read more once you've watched this, because as well as talking to you today, there may be things that may just sort of help shape how you're approaching the search and where you're at in the search, all supportive free information, so take advantage of that. So may I ask you a couple of questions?
Of course, yes.
Perfect. So in terms of availability of donor sperm, I know from personal experience that you can kind of you filter, you depending on whether you're doing it with a partner or not, you may kind of rank people and save people to favorites. Reserving for hopefully a pregnancy or a family slot, how does that work?
Yes, well, the most important thing being in the UK is that you select the UK as your country of treatment before even starting your search, because this will ensure that you're presented only with donors that can be used in the UK. We comply with different countries' regulations and also with UK regulations. So you only want to see donors that you can use in your country. Yes, and on top of that, you can apply your own filters on the website, as you've mentioned, for your personal preferences. Yes, and you've also mentioned family slots, I think.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, that's correct. There is in the UK a limit of 10 families per donor, no more. So to ensure that, we've implemented quota reservations. And when you place an order on the website, a quota reservation is automatically added to your order. And then if you fall pregnant, you can convert this quota reservation into a pregnancy and continue using the same donor for siblings. If not, you can renounce it on the website and you're refunded with 100% of the cost of the quota reservation. Yeah.
Wow. And I think that's one of the things that maybe my husband and I hadn't necessarily considered from the beginning, but we did during the process, was the fact that we were concentrating on having a healthy baby, of course.
Yeah.
But then we wanted to make sure that if we were to want a sibling, which we did, that we had enough of the same sperm donor sperm to
Mm.
have potentially multiple attempts at IVF, and some people might be doing IUI, and sometimes it's hard to gauge how many straws you're going to need for those attempts, wouldn't you say?
Yes, well, it varies a lot. We recommend purchasing about 5, 6 straws per child that you plan on having, but it varies a lot between women to women, how many tries it would take to fall pregnant. You know, of course, some are very fortunate and they fall pregnant on the first try. That we even have women in their 40s who fall pregnant very quickly. But then there are also some that fall pregnant that take more tries, several tries to fall pregnant. It's nature after all. You can't beat nature. So yeah, we recommend if you want to stick with the same donor for your treatments to purchase several straws.
Hmm.
And then you can, of course, have the straws shipped to your clinic and have them stored at your clinic. But then we cannot take the straws back if you haven't used them because it's biological material and we need to ensure our
Yeah.
quality after all. Yeah, so we offer the option of reserving the straws at Cryos. And in that case, if you haven't used the straws and you no longer want them, you can be refunded with 75% of the straw price. We
Okay.
basically purchase the straws back from
Okay.
you. Yes.
That's good to know. And if anyone has any questions as we're talking, please do ask Rotem. She's here to
Yes,
kindly answer them.
indeed.
Um, how long does the process take? Obviously, the selection process depends on the individual searching and meeting that criteria and making a decision. But how long does the shipping process take of the sperm to a clinic?
Well, once you've placed the order, um, we are, of course, very quick in shipping generally, and the shipping usually just takes a couple of business days. But it's the process behind it. What we have to do is get in touch with your clinic first and send them documents that are relevant for your donor and for your specific order. And we can't ship the order before the clinic confirms it, before we get the final okay from the clinic and coordinate the shipping date with the clinic.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no need to select an immediate shipping date. We can only ship when we get the clinic's
Uh-huh.
okay. Yes.
Yeah.
And this, so it also depends on how quick the clinic is to approve the donor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Someone
shipping on it, sorry?
I was going to say, someone just asked what a straw is. So, straw, you may have heard the term
Yes.
vial.
A straw, yeah, is a vial with the donor's sperm. It contains 0.5 milliliters of sperm, and we offer straws. If we're now talking about straws, we offer straws in different motilities. The motility is how many motile sperm that is alive, that moves, how many motile sperm cells there are per milliliter.
Yeah.
So for example, motility 10 straw means that it contains at least 10 million motile sperm cells after thawing. And since the straw is half a milliliter, so it's at least 5 million motile sperm cells after thawing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And another question, how many would you suggest people send to the clinic for a cycle of treatment? Does the specialist determine that depending on the type of treatment that someone's having?
Yeah, it's always a good thing to consult with your clinic, with the doctor who's treating you, how many straws he thinks you should send, the motility, the type of straws, because they know best according to your treatment. Our general recommendation is 5, 6 straws per each child that you plan. And as I said, we can also store the straws for you here at Cryos in a reservation instead of sending them all together to the clinic.
And when
Yes.
I was selecting, one of the things that I found, well, I wanted to know more about was the fact that you can get different types of straws, can't you, for different types of treatment, whether you're having IUI, IVF, is that right?
Yes, we offer IUI straws. This means that the sperm has been washed, and we offer ICI straws. This is unwashed sperm. For IVF treatments and ICSI treatments, sometimes the clinic may say that you can purchase ICI straws, which may lower the costs a bit because they cost less than the washed sperm. And IUI straws, they can be used for any treatment.
Mm-hmm. And would you mind just explaining what washed versus not washed means?
Yes, unwashed sperm is basically unprocessed sperm. When we wash the sperm, it goes through a process where the sperm cells are separated from the liquid and put in another more clinical liquid. Yes.
Right. Okay, that's good to understand. Thank you. Now, regarding, we've talked a bit about family limits. We've talked a bit about picking enough for future siblings, which is a huge consideration when you're looking, because you don't want to be in a scenario where you've had a child with a donor, you want to use the same donor, and then the straws have gone, do you?
No, and of course, we can't promise that if you come back to us in a few years, we will still have straws from the same donor. People continue acquiring straws, and we simply can't. We don't have a separate stock for siblings. This is why it is a very good idea to plan ahead and reserve straws for siblings. And as I've mentioned, you can always we can purchase the straws back from you if you haven't used them. Yes.
Okay, that's really good to know. Thank you. Any more questions anyone has, please do feel free to ask. Now, donor rights. What are donor rights?
Well, the donor basically he has agreed to be a biological donor, not a father. He will never be the father of the child. We get sometimes questions from people who actually are hoping that they can come in contact with a donor, or people who are concerned that the donor will try to reach out to them or to their child. So no, the donor, he doesn't have any obligations and he doesn't have any rights. He's just a biological donor. That said, in the UK, of course, as you might know, only ID release donors, that's non-anonymous donors, are used. This means that the child at the age of 18 can receive from us identifying information about the donor and try to get in touch with the donor, but it goes only one way. The donor can't, he will never receive information about the mother or the offspring, and he will never be able to reach out to them.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
you're, such a large international sperm and egg bank. Does that mean that you have an amazing selection of donors for people to choose from?
Yes, we do. We have new donors coming in all the time. I have to say we're very selective about our donors. Only 5 to 7% of the applications are accepted, but we have donors coming in all the time. So even if right now you're looking at the website and you're having difficulty finding the exact donor for you, it's always worth keeping an eye constantly because there are always new donors coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
One of my biggest sort of pieces of advice for anyone looking for a donor is to perhaps not filter the search too much at the beginning, because you might end up narrowing it down so much that you miss people who could have been, appealing in the longer term. So to keep an open mind.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, sometimes if you actually read the profile in depth, there can be some things that the donor has written about himself that actually appeal to you, and that you may have overseen him if you didn't
Exactly.
actually
Exactly.
look in the profile. Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Hmm. And when people come to your website, which is a really, I love the way that your website works. I think it's really user friendly.
Thank you.
What can people see in regards to a donor?
Well, that depends on the donor's profile. We offer basic profiles,
Yeah.
which are profiles with basic information,
Hmm.
physical traits, height, hair color, eye color, and things like that. And then we offer extended profiles for people who want more information. Not everyone wants all the information. Actually, there are some people who are interested in not having so much information about the donor. But the extended profiles, they offer a more extensive picture of the donor. With an interview where he answers many questions about his personal preferences, about hobbies, things that he likes doing, and experiences in life, and things like that. And and there's also, for example, a handwritten letter from the donor, an audio file, yes, childhood pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, and it gives you a sense of who that person is and
Yeah.
what they're like, as well as what they look like.
Yeah. You also exactly you get a sense
The
of
character.
the personality.
Hmm.
Yes, yes,
Hmm. And also, obviously, extensive medical history as well.
yes. In each donor profile, no matter if it's basic or extended, there is a under documents a file called SOR, Summary of Records, where you can see everything that the donor has been tested for. It includes diseases such as HIV and gonorrhea, syphilis, and CMV, and things like that, and then also the genetic tests that have been done on the donor. So there's transparency all the way, even in these things. You can always see that. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Someone has just asked how many times a donor can donate. And what was the other question? Sorry, just checking back. How often can donors stay active for, and how often can they donate? Can they donate more than once?
Yes, in fact, we have a long-lasting contact with our donors. They don't just show up once and donate. They come in several times to donate. We have some donors who've been active for months, and some donors who've even been active for years.
Oh,
Yes, and yeah,
okay.
we it's a long-lasting contact, and every time the donor comes in, he's interviewed and asked questions about his situation, if there have been any changes in his life and things like that.
Mhm.
So we keep constant contact with our donors.
That's great. That's
Yes.
great. Do you think that attitudes around donor sperm have changed for the better? Do you think people have become more accepting about different family building routes?
Well, Eloise, studies have shown that recent studies have shown that it's actually best to tell the child already at a young age that the child is donor conceived, and talk about it. And we're all for it. And we also have a section on our website about how to talk to your child about being donor conceived, and we offer advice, and we refer to literature on the topic, and Also, from the donor side, we have conducted recently. We have interviewed. We've conducted a study where we interviewed 233 donors, and they were also asked regarding this, and the majority of them stated that they don't have any reservations about talking to their family or partners about them being donors. So we see on both levels, both from the donor perspective and the family perspective, I think there's a clear tendency towards openness and transparency. It's not like in past years where there was secrecy around this and people didn't talk much. And yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Well, you know, having sperm donor conceived children myself, we're so grateful to our donor, and who knows whether our children will want to contact him in the future. But
Mm.
you know, it's just an incredible gift that someone can give. We've talked a bit about the limit in the UK. Is there anything else that you think people should consider when they're choosing a donor? I know one of the questions actually that came up during the show and we've had before, and I thought about, was CMV status. Is that something to consider when you're picking a donor, whether you're negative or positive?
Well, this is actually something that's best to ask your clinic. Mm-hmm. We test donors for CMV because it's a UK requirement. Some countries require that. If a donor is positive for CMV, of course, it doesn't mean that he has an active infection. It means that he has antibodies for CMV. Right. So he's had the infection in the past. The majority of the population has had CMV at some point during their lives. So
yeah, because if you were having a child, you know, through natural conception with a partner, you wouldn't necessarily
check that. Exactly. Yeah. The risk is, I would say, close to zero, but of course, it's always best to ask these medical questions to address them to your clinic or to your doctor. Yes.
Absolutely. And for people who are considering looking at your sperm bank, looking at your donors, you've got a brilliant support team, haven't you? Customer support team.
Yes, we have a customer care team that speaks many different languages, actually. Just to name a few, apart from English, of course, Italian, French, Spanish, Japanese even. Yeah, wow. So yeah, many different languages, and we can help you on the phone. You can even book a call with us. You can write us an email at dk@chrisinternational.com. We have a chat also. You can chat with us. Yeah, we're always very happy to help. And also, of course, just give us a call if you want. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. So if you have got any more questions for Rotem or the team at Cryos, please do head to, well, you can either contact them directly or head to our link in our bio, because we have a brilliant article up on our website which the team have written, which outlines everything and more that we've discussed today in detail, and then obviously, you know, you can click and speak to the team who can give you personalized advice based on your scenario, what you're looking for, where you're having treatment, whatever it might be, and timings, etc. So yeah, really thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that anyone wants to know, or you think that we should discuss on this theme? We've covered most things, I think, today. Yeah, no one else? Well, thank you so much for your time. Someone said how brilliant you are, and your support's been amazing. So thank you for that. And,
thank you.
Yes.
Do write to us if for anything. We're happy to help. Yes. Thank you so much.
It's always a pleasure chatting with your team.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for your time today. Okay, thanks everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.